Hey guys, in this video I'll be telling you the best PvP builds in Blox Fruits. Also, I won't be providing tutorials on how to get the items for each build, as by the time you're ready to PvP, you're most likely max level. By the time you're max level, you'll most likely have, know most of the weapons in the build. If you're not already at max level, make sure you reach it first, otherwise, you'll be at a big disadvantage. Now that I've cleared that, let's begin. For the first build, it's Ice, God Human, Curse Dual Katana, and Soul Guitar. This is a really popular, easy, and pretty cheap build. Now for the stat points, it kind of depends on the combo, since Ice can be used to stun, or deal damage. The combo I'll be showing involves stat points into Fruit, but some other combos just use Ice as the stun, and the damage is from Sword. Alright, the combo is, Ice V, Ice C, Ice C, God Human X, God Human C, God Human Z, Ice X, Curse Dual Katana Z, Curse Dual Katana X. The enemy will most likely be dead by the time you do Ice X, so don't worry about the Curse Dual Katana part much. If you find that combo too hard, you can do this alternative combo instead. Ice V, Ice C, Ice C, Sanguine X, Sanguine C, Curse Dual Katana Z, Curse Dual Katana X, Ice X, and Sanguine Z if they survive. If your stat points are on Sword, the combo is very similar, Ice V, CDKM1, once, Ice C, CDKM1, thrice, Curse Dual Katana Z, Curse Dual Katana X, God Human Z, God Human C, God Human X. Now those are the combos for Ice, with some alternatives for your picking. Pros of this fruit are that the Z, C, and V move all break instinct and have stun, making it great for starting combos. It's also one of the best fruits to start PvPing with, as it's very versatile and easy to learn combos. Cons of this fruit are that it's weak to air PvP, as the stun moves work best on the ground and not air. Now, here are some tips and tricks for the Ice fruit. First, if your stats are on Fruit, make sure to fully awaken Ice. If your stats aren't on Fruit, you don't need to awaken Ice, but I recommend awakening it until you unlock the F move from ability. Also, if you're using fully awakened Ice, make sure to unawaken the C move as it's better for most combos. Now those are all the tips and tricks I have for Ice, so let's move on to the races I recommend to use. The first race I recommend is Rabbit, since the speed will be very useful to get near your enemy, so you can easily use the V move without the enemy escaping. And the next and final race I recommend is Shark, because it's so tanky. You can survive basically every combo, one shot or not, by using its race V3 ability. And when you unlock race V4, it becomes in my opinion the best race in the game, for everything. The Shark race isn't only good for this build / the Ice fruit, it's good for all builds and fruits. That's all for this build, so now let's move on to the second build. Alright, the second build is Rumble Fruit, God Human, Soul Cane, and Acidum Rifle. This is a very good, skillful, and not very hard to get build. These are the stat points. Most Rumble combos have stat points into Fruit / Sword, but the combo I'll be showing uses a gun for the damage. Now, the combo is Acidum Rifle N1, not mandatory, but preferred if possible, Rumble X, Acidum Rifle Z, Soul Cane Z, Acidum Rifle X, God Human Z, God Human X, and God Human C. That's the combo, and with all the weapons upgraded it'll do over 16,000 damage, making it a one-shot combo. That's the combo. I don't have any alternatives, but all the items, except God Human, are pretty easy and cheap to get. Now pros of this build are that the Acidum Rifle is the highest damage dealing gun in the game. The Rumble X move, Awakened, has a pretty large AoE, so it doesn't require much aim, and you can stun your enemy easily. The Soul Cane Z move also has a stun effect, so it's great to use to keep your enemy trapped for Acidum Rifle moves. Cons of this build are that the Rumble Fruit takes like a second to land, so your enemy can easily combo you / run away. Those are the pros and cons, so let's move on to the tips and tricks. The first tip is to make sure you upgrade your Acidum Rifle at the blacksmith. It's pretty cheap, costing only 8 vampire fangs and 10 leather. For only those materials, you'll get an extra 10% damage on your Acidum Rifle, which is very useful. Another tip I recommend is to awaken the Rumble Fruit till you unlock the X move, since the X move needs to be awakened for this combo. Also, Before you can awaken the X move, you'll unlock, a new move, the F move, which is also very useful. The F move is basically a better version of the dash. It dashes longer, faster, and can dash upwards and downwards too. The dashes have 3 charges, and recharge once every 12 seconds. Those are all my tips and tricks, so now let's move on to the races I recommend for this build. The first race I'd recommend is Rabbit. It lets you easily escape combos, and since it's so fast, you can catch your enemies off guard and use the Rumble X move / start your combo. The next race I recommend is Shark. It's very tanky, and you can survive basically every combo when you awaken or use the race V3 ability. But for this build, the race doesn't matter, you can use Cyborg to punish your enemies, or any other race you want, just make sure you've awakened it to race V4. That's everything for this build, so let's move on to the next and final build. Alright, for the third and final build, it's a Kitsune build. This build is very good, and pretty easy to learn and perform. The build is Kitsune Fruit, God Human, Soul Guitar, and Spiky Trident. Alright, so these are the stat points. Now, here's the combo: God Human C, Spiky Trident X, God Human Z, Kitsune C, Kitsune F, Kitsune Z, and Kitsune X. Alright, so that's the combo. It does over 22,000 damage, making it a one-shot combo. I don't have any alternatives, but it's pretty easy to perform, so yeah. If you want, after you do the Kitsune C, you can instead do God Human X and then Kitsune Z, that'll still be a one-shot combo. That's it for the build, so now let's move on to the pros and cons. Alright, so the first pro is that this combo has lots of stun, making it hard for your enemy to run away once you're comboing them. The next pro is that this combo is very fast-paced, making it even harder for the enemy to escape. The Kitsune Fruit is very fast even when untransformed, so you can easily run away / combo your enemies. Now for the cons, God Human C and Spiky Trident X don't break instinct, so you have to make sure you Soul Guitar, breaks instinct, them before performing the combo. Also, just so you don't get confused, God Human C, if not held, doesn't break instinct, while if it is held, it breaks instinct, so you can just do that instead. Those are the pros and cons, so let's move on to the tips and tricks. The first tip is to always make sure you PvP with 2 tails or more, never PvP with 1 tail on the Kitsune Fruit. The reason for this is that when you get 2 tails, you get 100%, 2 times, more speed, while with 1 tail you get no buffs. Also, if you find the combos too hard, you can just spam Kitsune moves, run, and repeat. Now those are all the tips and tricks I have, so let's move on to the races I recommend using with Kitsune. The first race I recommend is Ghoul, race V4. When awakened, you get life leech, shorter cooldowns, and you'll have crows blinding your enemy and attacking them. The next race I recommend is Shark, because you can survive basically every combo, one shot or not, with the race V3 ability. And yeah, those are all the best builds I recommend using for PvP. Anyway guys, that's the end of this video. If you found this video useful, please consider liking and subscribing, I'd greatly appreciate it. Anyway, bye.